Thank you. Get smaller print, please. Hi, this is Bill Roth, Vice Chair of Agriculture. I'm running the meeting today. Ms. Juby is a little bit under the weather, and she is online via Zoom. Welcome, Leslie. Okay, roll call, please.
Okay, looks like Alan, Leonard.
Leonard here.
Genesis.
Here.
Sanchez. Williams. Roth.
Roth here.
Juby.
Should be here. Thank you. I'm going to leave my camera off so I don't scare small children and pets.
Okay, thank you, Leslie. Okay, remote attendance request, Ms. Juby for being sick. And that's the only one I'm aware of. Okay. We have quorum. Can I get an approval of minutes?
Williams will move for unanimous.
Okay, everyone in agreement? Thank you. Any public comment? I don't see anyone, so no public comment. Okay, next. Farm Bureau update. Steve?
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't have many things in my notes, but I did take advantage of the copier to put a number of things in front of you. First of all, I will tell you that I and several of our volunteer leaders just came back from our annual Governmental Affairs Leadership Conference in Springfield. I spent yesterday morning going up and down twice from the bottom of the Capitol in Springfield to the fourth floor, and I've not quite recovered yet. That's a long way. And I don't know if anybody knows this. A little fun fact: the Illinois State Capitol is the highest capitol in the nation, even higher than the U.S. Capitol. So it rises 410 feet from the first level to the top of the Capitol dome. So I was not aware of that. And then after they told me that fact, and we drove by on the east side of the Capitol yesterday and took a look up, it's like, that is pretty darn tall building sitting down there in the middle of the prairie. 410 feet. And the
Will like that. That's it.
interestingly enough, when they cleaned the dome and cleaned the stained glass in the Capitol dome after years of smoking and weather, the Capitol was begun in 1868. And when they cleaned the dome, they found that the banner that is held by the eagle that says state sovereignty, national union, that they had misspelled the word sovereignty. So I don't know if for historical purposes that if they left that misspelling in the word sovereignty or not. But I won't try not to take too much of your time. I did give Mr. Collins and I passed out 4 different things. The one that should be on top is a flyer about our 24th annual shopping spree for local food pantries. That takes place on Monday at 10:30 at the Batavia Jewel Osco. They've hosted that all 23 of the previous years. Our contestants are going to be your own Ag Committee Chair, Leslie Juby, and she will be representing the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry in Aurora, and St. Charles Mayor Laura Vitek, and she will be representing Lazarus House in St. Charles. So if you have time available, we invite you down to watch that race, which will get underway at 10:30 on Monday at the Jewel Osco. The other 3 items that I left for you, one is a copy of the first issue of our 2025 link, local information, news, and know-how from the Illinois Farm Bureau. That issue is dedicated exclusively to the Farm Bureau's local government priorities for 2025. The first of those, and I won't spend much time with that, but the first of those is a renewal of what we call enhancing local partnerships and allies in agriculture resolution or pro-agriculture resolution, which this Kane County Board passed in 2023. Of course, it is a new county board, and so we are asking county boards all over the state to renew that resolution. I put a copy of the 2023 resolution in front of you in lavender. It was developed in collaboration with your planning staff in 2023, and we would like to do the same again in 2025. I don't know that there's been a whole lot of changes in terms of the facts or the numbers. Ideally, we would like to ask the County Agriculture Committee to have a resolution like this on the agenda for the March meeting. The reason being, in April, we will do our annual Touch a Tractor Farm City open house on the lawn at our office location on Randall Road. As part of that, we do a Saturday meet and greet for state legislators, congressmen, local public officials. And we'd really like to be able to announce at that event that the county has renewed that Allies in Agriculture resolution. The fourth thing that I have left for each of you is a 2-page fact, frequently asked questions about why the Illinois Farm Bureau and county farm bureaus are asking county boards to pass a resolution like this. I will tell you that for 2025, with new county board basically being seated in December, at this time, the county boards in Will, Cook, and DeKalb have all passed the resolution. I'm not sure what the schedule is for McHenry and Lake, but I know it is on the agenda of the county farm bureaus. Kendall County and Grundy County might be a little bit behind you, but we would sure like to see Kane County be one of the first 10 or 20 counties in the state to pass a resolution of this sort. And then the last thing I will tell you, I hope that everyone is on our mailing list for our Kane County Farmer. If you're not, I've got some copies here I will leave on the desk to keep you up to date with what we're doing. The biggest things we have coming up after the shopping spree, we've got about 57 applications for college scholarships that our foundation will be reviewing. They'll be making 25 scholarship awards, I believe, about $45,000 in scholarships, and that should happen within the next month. And then that will be followed up by our Touch Tractor event in April. So, Mr. Collins or Mr. Kenyon, I don't know if you have anything to add, but I'm done.
I think the biggest thing on the horizon is the bird flu.
Microphone, please.
Oh, you all know about the price of eggs. And when they find the flu in the flock, they have been killing everything.
Yep.
Now, in my mind, you let them die if they die and keep the survivors, and they might have some
Immunity.
Tolerance.
yes, but they've killed, I don't know, like 40 million birds. And that's why your eggs are so expensive. You guys knew that, didn't you? I'm not, well, you knew they were expensive, but you don't know why. And I saw on TV the other night, dead birds on lakeshore that have gotten bird flu, so it would be ducks and geese. Now, for some reason, the Canadian geese don't die. But it kills the useful ones.
Yeah.
But it's a problem they're working on, and they have a vaccine, but it's a long time to get it out. But see, this has been around, what, 10 years, the bird flu.
I read an article yesterday. Turkey is shipping, I don't know, 20 million dozen eggs because they're not having issues with the bird flu
Well, they'll get
to
it.
the US.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So that may
turkey.
help bring prices down. Okay, Mark, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, thank you, Mark Van Kirkhoff. And I wasn't expecting to say anything today because I'm going to leave shortly and turn the rest of the agenda over to our capable team here. But Steve, I couldn't help but notice in the link publication you passed out, starting on page 6 and going on to several other pages, a lot of information about county zoning and particularly identifying counties that have zoning and those that have include agritourism related language in their zoning codes. And I just wanted to, especially for the new members of the committee, this committee and the Farm Bureau has been a tremendous partner. About 3 years ago, we revised the language in our zoning ordinance to have better definitions for agritourism, to be friendlier for a roadside stand, for our farmers, basically to, help support our local food industry. And the Farm Bureau was a great sounding board and a great partner, them and their board and a couple of their subcommittees in helping us draft language that worked for everybody. So it's nice to see, where we stand in the state. And I just want to recognize the Farm Bureau's assistance. And when we look at any zoning changes or our beekeeping regulations, that was another example where they were a great partner. So thank you.
I would like to add that this governmental affairs conference came on the heels of the local foods conference, which Matt is going to report on. And having had those two statewide experiences within basically 2 weeks of each other, and talking about local foods topics and talking about local government, the staff and the leadership at the County of Kane are really kind of rock stars in our organization in terms of the model that they would like other counties to follow. So whether you know it or not, you get a lot of shout outs at these types of Farm Bureau events.
Okay, I want to recognize Miss Allen is here, so, okay, thank you. Welcome, Deborah. Are there any questions for the Farm Bureau?
I've got one or two other things.
Okay,
I
ahead,
don't know
Bob.
if you guys go on Kane County Connects, you can go to the past articles and you can read about how the legislator, excuse me, the state legislator made the soybean the bean of Illinois now.
Right.
So the other thing is just a reminder, and I'm sure you guys will probably be participating in the Touch a Tractor event, but if you can get the word out to any of your constituents that we're having that pork chop dinner for the 4-H on the 12th of April, and there are tickets available at the extension office.
Do we have a flyer yet for that we can circulate?
No, but I can get you one.
Yeah, because then we'll get with Julie and make sure she gets it in Kane County Connects too.
Oh, okay. Very
Okay.
good. It's at the fairgrounds, at the events.
Okay. Okay. Before we move off the Farm Bureau, oh, did you have anything else, Bill?
No.
Okay. Anything, Mr. Kenyon?
I think
Okay.
the pork chop dinner is to raise money so that they can do their projects. And the 4-H is fantastic,
Yes.
fantastic.
I highly
young
recommend the
people.
dinner. Yes,
Is
Mr.
that
Dennis.
pork chop dinners at the same day? Is that going to be on the same day as the Touch a Tractor event too? So you're going to have two events that day?
That's the Saturday.
What we do, Steve can tell you what we do with the Farm Bureau for that event.
Yes, actually, we'll have 3 events. Well, on Saturday, the 12th of April, we'll have Touch a Tractor from 10 to 4 on the lawn, open to the public. And then at approximately 4 o'clock, we'll have a meet and greet for local public officials and our legislators. That'll just be some drinks and appetizers and a little bit of a conversation, particularly about local government priorities, but also hopefully an update from some of our state senators and state reps about what's going on in Springfield. And then we will adjourn that early enough and we'll provide complimentary tickets to the local public officials that want to go next door to the 4-H fundraiser pork chop dinner. So we'll save you money on pork chops so you can buy a gift basket.
Sounds
They
good.
have a silent auction there and a live auction too, and there's some good finds. I've gone the last 2 years. I highly recommend all our board members to attend
I will be there.
to both of those events. Okay. Steve, I wanted to bring up, you're mentioning a proclamation. We actually have one on our agenda today that Ms. Juby has been working with Mr. Vane, Mark on. So it's page 17 of the agenda. And I don't know if it matches and
And we're very appreciative for the resolution that's on the agenda today,
Okay.
but it is, it is more a recognition of, National Agriculture Day in
Right.
March, whereas, the resolution that we put in front of you that the county board passed in 2023.
three.
Thank you. Thank you. It speaks more particularly to county policies and public
Okay.
policies in regards to agriculture and farms and food. And they are all, in our estimation, they are all things that the county is already doing.
Okay.
But we think it sends a strong message about the support of the county of Kane for agriculture and agriculturalists. And I honestly think that the genesis of this idea was to encourage other counties around the state to be as aware of the needs of agriculture in formulating their public policy as the county of Kane has been historically.
Can you email us a copy of this? Ms. Juby doesn't have it because she's on Zoom.
Yes, I will do
Okay.
that. That will just go to all of your county board.
Yeah, I would send it to all
Okay.
24 board
Okay,
members.
will do.
All righty, thank you.
Hey, Bill,
Yes, Ms. Juby.
we can tweak, oh, I'm sorry. We can stop. We can
He
tweak.
has some input, I think, to the
Oh my
the
God,
proclamation.
only when I'm talking. We can tweak the, oh my God, hang on a minute. Okay, we can tweak the resolution. I can work with Matt and Mark to get more in there. If Steve, if you could just highlight the things that you think are important that are in there, then we'll get that taken care of.
So we could merge it into the one.
We can just merge it, yeah, because I know that what we did was kind of specific to the new initiatives that we're doing and the excitement of our programs, but I understand the importance of having what the Farm Bureau deems important. So yeah, we can just highlight what you want us to merge in there and we'll take care of it.
So we'll approve it today with the changes that go
knowing that
before
there's
the
gonna
county
be,
board for
yes.
approval.
Yeah.
Is our plan. Are you okay with that, Steve?
I guess I would say that I believe the time horizon is doable if you want to pass both. If you want to do
Okay.
one in terms of
Okay.
proclamation for National Ag Day,
Right.
and there are things that are repetitive
Okay.
between the two, but
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Well,
that
we can
the
take that offline
repetition-
and make a call on that, right, Leslie?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll work it out. We want to make sure we take care of the Farm Bureau. Okay, thank you. All right, next on the agenda, where did I do with my agenda? Presentations, everything local recap, Matt?
Great. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. As Steve mentioned today, I did want to take a little bit of time just to recap the Everything Local conference that I attended back at the end of January. So this is a conference that's hosted by a combination of the Illinois Farm Bureau, the Illinois Specialty Crop Association, and the Illinois Farmers Market Association. This conference was actually originally two conferences a couple years ago. So there was one version that was specifically for farmers and specialty crop growers and really focused on providing them with the latest tips and industry information. And then the other one was more focused on supportive organizations like farmers markets, universities, colleges, and local government agencies that have involvement with local foods work and planning. But then in the last few years, they just decided to merge the two into a single conference. So you really get good collaboration and interaction between farmers and public policy folks too. So it's been a good adjustment, I'd say.
Where was the conference held at?
It was in Springfield.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Were you the only one that got to attend?
I think from our office I was, but I did meet with a couple of our farmers that were attending
Okay.
there as well. So it was
Okay.
good to see them.
All right, thank you. Question, Mr. Arnold?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were going to go on with your report, Matt. A couple of the speakers at the conference were, oh, I should have written this down. Garlic Breath Farm, Sharon Persky, and Klein's Quality Produce, Matt Klein, and our statewide publication, Farm Week, did brief interviews with both of those, and we will put those in the King County Farmer for the month of March. But I also wanted to tell Matt and everybody else here, this conference is the only one where they allow direct registration, the only one that the Illinois Farm Bureau offers where they allow direct registration. Our board of directors decided several years ago that any member of our association that wanted to attend any of our statewide conferences, that we would pay the registration for. And that's very simple with the other conferences because they have to call me in order to register. But Matt and Janice and our King County Farm Bureau members can register directly for this one. So next year, we will develop a billing code so that when you register, we'll automatically be notified and your registration fees will be deducted from a King County Farm Bureau account instead of from the county of Kane or, okay.
Great.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah,
All right.
and we still did get the discount for the Farm Bureau membership, so that definitely helped. So I did want to just highlight a couple of the sessions that I attended, just because I think they give a good picture of some other initiatives that are happening around the region, around the state. The first one is called Grow Lake County. So this was initiated in Lake County, Illinois, a while back. And it started, it was really led by the College of Lake County, and they worked with the Liberty Prairie Foundation, Lake County Community Foundation, Lake County Farm Bureau, and Extension. And what they wanted to do was to create a new information resource, basically to make it a little bit easier for members of the community to find where they can purchase local foods, where they can find community gardens that they can rent plots from. And there's also a pretty extensive section on how to grow food, both at home and is in part of a community garden. So I thought it was a really useful and helpful resource and could be kind of a model of something to look at down the road. And this is just a look at the interactive map that they developed. So you can search this map based on different categories. So you can search based on restaurants that source local food. You can search for community gardens. You can search for farms that offer different agritourism activities for families and residents. So it's a pretty dynamic search tool that you can use to find very specific, local food resources and just opportunities for engaging with local farms. There was another initiative that was featured. This was actually not part of one of the sessions that I attended, but there was a working group meeting that occurred the day before the conference started. And I didn't attend this, but I thought it was still worth sharing with the committee because this could be a very impactful initiative for the state of Illinois. So there is an organization called Experimental Station that received some funding to explore developing a statewide food systems plan. And this is something that a number of states across the country have already completed. I think there's about 18 or so states nationwide that have created their own food system plans. And there's a couple in the Midwest. I think Minnesota, Michigan, and Iowa are a couple of the states in the Midwest that have these plans in place already. And basically what they're looking at is seeing how they can like help different initiatives across the state be aware of each other and possibly be able to partner with and support each other. So it's just an effort to kind of help coordinate some of the ongoing projects and programs in local foods that have been active for some time. So there's going to be a series of listening sessions coming up, and so I'm hoping to attend one of those just to be able to give some input and see how this planning process is coming together and how it could affect the rest of the state. There is another initiative. This was another session that was organized by the members of HEAL Food System Partners. So this is a group based in the Peoria region, and it's an effort that's being led by the Tazewell County Health Department. And the focus of this program is really looking at ways to utilize local food production as a way to address food security needs. So they've got a couple of different programs that they've supported over the years, one of which is what they're calling a Grow a Row program. And I know there's different versions of this program operated across the country. But they had a very specific goal of producing 26,000 pounds of produce that would be donated to food pantries that are serving this region. And they've also published a number of resource guides designed to help residents that are facing food insecurity find local foods and help them navigate different food security programs, just to lower some of the barriers that they might face for getting the assistance that they need. And there's also guides for farmers and for farmers markets. So there's some good information for producers as well. And lastly, they also developed what they call their green light labeling program. So this is a program that labels foods based on their nutritional value in food pantries, just to kind of help the users of food pantries find foods that are most healthy. Excuse me. There is another program I wanted to highlight, and I don't have a slide for this, but I had a discussion with one of the managers at the Illinois Farm to School Network, and she wanted to call attention to a program that's being run by the Illinois State Board of Education. The program is called the Local Food in Schools Program, and it's a program that's funded by USDA. So the USDA provides pass-through funding to the states, and the states can use this funding to allow school food authorities to purchase local foods. And so this program has set aside about $7 million for school food authorities across the state to use this funding to purchase locally sourced foods. As I understand it, not even half of this funding has been tapped into so far, and it's actually a non-competitive source of funding. So if you're a school food authority that is eligible, you can apply for this funding, and as long as it's available, there's a very good chance that school authority would be able to receive it. So this is just something that the Farm to School Network is trying to call some attention to, and just recognize that this is an opportunity that schools can take advantage of. And if you go to the Illinois State Board of Education website, you can see the lists of schools that have signed up to receive this funding, as well as the schools that haven't, and see how much funding they're actually eligible to receive. Okay.
Question.
Oh, please.
We should talk to Pat over at ROE, because they could maybe for King County do that. especially if it's additional funding. I think that would be, if we could set
Yeah,
up something maybe.
yeah.
Um,
Mr. Chair.
yes, Mr.
Yes,
Leonard.
just a question on that, Matt. With respect to the local school districts, who should they contact in order to apply for this or get involved in this program?
So they would apply through the Illinois State Board of Education. So they have a webpage set up that has all of the, the requirements and what a school food authority would need to do to apply for that funding.
Mr. Chair, one
Yes,
last question
Mr.
for me.
Pence.
That funding money is used for what? It's not used to purchase the food specifically or?
It
or
is,
It
yes,
is.
right. So it is specifically for purchasing local food, and they do have information about, what constitutes local food. And I would add that the Illinois Farm to School Network does have good resources as to how schools can find local food. So they have like a directory, and they have a whole webpage that's basically dedicated to help schools find food that they can procure.
And
If you could email out
Yeah, go ahead.
this real quick, sorry.
Yeah.
The link to that,
Absolutely.
and then I can help you to coordinate with Pat. Unfortunately, they have an institute day, the 28th, a week from tomorrow, which would be a
No.
great presentation at that, but it's too late to do that, but
Well, I've got Pat working on it right now. She's
Okay,
got
thank
someone
you.
from her office, so they'll look into it and see if they can blast it out to our school districts.
okay, thank you, Miss Juby.
Mhm.
Okay,
No, actually,
Ted, go
that's
ahead. Sorry to
exactly
cut
what I
you
was
off.
gonna say. We have
Yeah.
this opportunity
Right.
at that
Yeah,
institute.
Yeah.
great minds think alike. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would add too that Diane Chapita with the Illinois Farm to School Network is a really great resource for this. So she'd be a good person for schools to consult with and get some good guidance that might be a little bit
Right.
more accessible than working through ISBE.
okay.
So,
And it's a good opportunity to do cross communication, between education and ag and et cetera. We need to do more of that.
certainly.
One last thing, regarding, and I'll let you finish up here, but Experimental Station, I've actually worked with them. I know the director and the deputy director there. It's exciting doing something at a statewide level, making sure that we're doing some local food. And, they're based in Chicago. So this is something that I hope you can filter out, that we could work with them to increase our local food production for the schools and so on. So it's
Mr.
exciting.
Pence.
Great. Okay. And then lastly, I just have a couple of quick updates. On our USDA Urban Agriculture Innovative Production Grant Program. I can report that we have submitted our request to extend the program by another 12 months. So this has been received and is currently in process. I would also note that we'll be working with the extension program staff to make preparations for the local food access projects that we're working on as well. That's 7 or so community food growing and access programs up and down the Fox Valley that we'll be working on with them. So we'll be setting up a payment schedule and just making sure that we have a process in place for moving forward on those projects.
Thank you. I have a question. Can we go back to the map that Lake County was using? Are you thinking we want to try to do something like this with Grow and Cane?
So we do currently have a map that was developed by the health department and our county GIS department. So currently that map just lists farmers markets, market stands, and CSA programs. So it-
CSA being,
Community supported agriculture
okay, thank you.
sites. Yep, thanks. So we do have that as kind of a starting point. So this, it could be an opportunity to maybe expand the scope of what's detailed in that map. So that's certainly something we could.
Well, one of the
discuss.
things you mentioned about Lake County, they're doing restaurants that are buying local agriculture. And I think that if we could help them out, that'd be good marketing for those restaurants. And maybe we have at the beginning of the summer, here's all the restaurants, and then every month in Kane County Connect, maybe drill down to a particular restaurant and then describe it. Because it would maybe help their their restaurant to stay in business.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, I'm a troublemaker. What can I say? All right. So no, I like that concept. So I'm always of the type, you don't have to invent it. We can appropriate somebody else's idea and execute better.
Right.
Thank you. Miss Allen.
We already have an incredibly talented GIS person
Yes, we have.
who's ready to take that up.
So that's a good example. We should take their idea and run with it. So
Great.
thank you.
Yeah, we'll look at that. Great.
Any other questions for Matt? Okay. Okay, next is riding in Kane, not riding Kane, riding.
Yeah, that's confusing.
So hi, I'm Catherine McKenna. Definitely the last ag committee meeting, there had been public comments talking about the economic impact of the equine industry in Kane County. So we thought we'd kind of hone in on that and take his comments into consideration, especially because the ag committee has increasingly looked at ways that agriculture contributes to our local economy here. So I went through.
Catherine, can you get a little closer to your mic,
Yes,
please? All right, thank you.
Of course. No, want to make sure everyone can hear. So to start, whoops. Matt and I were looking through some of the data from the 2022 USDA Ag Census just to see like what the inventory of horses and ponies is in Northeastern Illinois and also Illinois as a whole. And I believe Kane County ranks 9th of the 102 counties in Illinois for the number of horses in our county and ponies. So just showing that this isn't a very important aspect of our agricultural economy here, and we need to make sure we focus on it properly.
And speaking of which, I heard Miss Juby's a little bit excited about this.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm excited too. This has been a fun project for me to work on. So this is just a preliminary map. This is by no means exhaustive. I created this by looking through Google Maps and looking through some of our county resources to find businesses that are related to equine activities. So this could be like boarding facilities, places where they have lessons. Some of these are more veterinary focused. And I was able to find 83 so far. And Miss Juby also provided me a list of some that she had thought of that weren't on my initial list. And we're working to see how we can make this the most complete list as possible. And like, if anyone has ideas about crowdsourcing or who would be the best people to reach out to, and just how we can properly support people who are involved in the equestrian industry here and how to, make that more prominent. So if you have any questions or ideas, very open to that.
Well, we're doing in development, the whole economic development, and this is a huge,
Yes.
that maybe it's a niche, but it's a big niche.
Yep.
And it would help, there again, marketing all these, there again, maybe a map that people can, hey, I got a horse and I want to look at,
Right.
or whatever. And Ms. Juby has all the questions that, people will ask, but,
Yes.
set it up. So there's one spot they can go and then we could communicate it.
Mhm.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yep, those are all my slides.
Okay.
Bill,
Good
I have
job.
a comment.
Yes, Miss Allen.
I had no idea there were 83. I'm already impressed.
At least, definitely more.
There's more, probably, right?
Yeah.
So Bill,
Yes, Miss Juby.
okay, sorry, I can't find my hand thing to raise it. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
anyway,
We'll still answer to you.
Thank you. I am super excited about this, and I've been talking to a lot of my my friends who have horses who are also super excited about it. I personally think that the number that is reported is a little bit low for how many horses are in Kane County. And so and anyone have any ideas or suggestions, please either reach out to me or Catherine or
Okay.
Mark, and we'll try to get this moving, because this is it's a really big financial driver in Kane County that's, I believe, has been overlooked. So I'm super excited.
And I agree. And it gives us a niche. What makes King County unique? and stuff. So you say you think it's underreported. So you think there's what, 1,000?
Oh, I think there's probably, I think so. I mean, one of these properties with two farms that are right next to each other have probably 90 horses together on two properties. So.
Oh, so
yeah, I
you think the
it's
number of
underreported.
horses is underreported?
I think the number of horses underreported because I don't know how you would report it. I've not reported my horse to anyone. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, new business. We have the proclamation. Can I get a motion?
Williams moves.
Second? Okay, Williams and then Allen. Okay, any discussion? We already had a little that we're gonna work with the Farm Bureau to see if we can incorporate it, whether it stays two different proclamations or we can combine it into one. But that'll be done offline. Any questions on the current one? The concept is if we approve it here, it'll go to the county board for approval, I believe. And it will be modified accordingly after we meet with Steve and Farm Bureau. Okay, no questions? Let's call a roll.
Allen,
Aye.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Genesis,
Genesis, yes?
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Stube.
Should I?
Okay, thank you. Okay, can I get a motion to reports on file?
Hey, Bill. I have some more new
Unanimously?
business.
Okay, I'm
Bill,
sorry, Miss Juby, I didn't hear you.
I have some more new business.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back to new business.
Yeah, thank you. We received an email from Austin Powell, requesting support for Senate Bill 1397, which basically is about amending the Solid Waste Management Act to create a grant program that would incentivize the use of finished compost, liquid digestate, and solid digestate on private and public lands used for commercial farm and specialty farm operations. It's a grant program that lasts 3 years with an annual fund up to $2 million. Each grant recipient would receive a maximum award of $50,000. The grant would cover 90% of the cost associated with purchasing, transporting, and applying finished compost on land owned by private entities for commercial or specialty farm operations. And the grant recipients would allow the Prairie Research Institute of the University of Illinois to help study the use of compost and digestate. And I am really curious how our farm partners feel about this. So Bill, if you could get them a copy before
I
they
had printed
leave,
extra copies
that
and
would be
everyone in
great.
the room.
and then if it's going to be presented again tomorrow at Energy and Environment. So if they could like get back to one of us and tell us what, if they would like us to say something tomorrow or not. Otherwise, I think it will appear on the executive committee meeting and then the full board.
Okay.
So we can always take action there if they don't have enough time to review it. But I want to definitely get our partner's opinion of it before we, before we can say one way or another.
A little background on this. In yesterday's legislative meeting, it was brought forward. And afterwards, I had recommended to Austin that this should also be run just for communication purposes through ag. And we got to continue to work on communication because we find sometimes things are decided without talking to the Farm Bureau and the farmers are saying, what the heck?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I have to ask the question.
Okay, just one.
Where does the liquid digestate and solid digestate, where is it generated? Where is it coming from?
Okay. Austin's here, so he can.
So food waste will go into an anaerobic digester, which are usually found at wastewater treatment plants. It's run through in like the composition of oatmeal, heated up, and there's microorganisms in that break it down. So usually through that process, you'll get biogas that's used to power buildings and homes, and then left over will be like a solid material, and that's the digestate.
So I guess I'm confused. Is this food waste that's generated from processing operations, or are you talking about sanitary sewage treatment plants?
Food waste gets processed through the anaerobic digester. They collect that. They can collect that.
Who is they collected? Manufacturers that are processing food or restaurants or?
Pins, I believe, in my context where I previously worked in Rockford, they had partnerships with local restaurants or local farmers where that was then given to the facility and then they would take that.
Yeah, I made a comment yesterday to Austin. We don't want to repeat what Cook County's been doing, taking industrial and putting it out for compost and finding that it's toxic.
Is this an encouragement for our local restaurants to, instead of throwing out the food waste, to essentially contribute them to a composting program?
If they would like to, yeah, we'd love to encourage that. This bill is more along the lines of creating a market for farmers to purchase that compost. It doesn't directly involve like encouraging businesses to give food waste to these companies. But that's kind of trying to build up the demand for it, can then build up the supply or create the supply chain for it to happen.
I think there's going to be a lot of questions coming up, and I think we need to maybe offline get
Yes.
some more of that and then present it. Because I definitely want input from the Farm Bureau. So we're
Absolutely.
not blindsided them. We want their buy-in and also ag. So it's really a more communication. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's coming from environmental, but anytime there's anything with ag, it also, we need to work with ag too.
This was last minute on our end since
Right.
this bill just recently came up and it's
I
currently in
understand.
appropriations. So
And going forward, we just got to get better. So that's it. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Did he answer your question, Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Sort of, okay. Okay, yes, Mr. Leonard.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Got a question for you. With respect to the grant, it's up to 2 million a year for 3 years. If all of the grant in one of the years isn't used, does that move forward to the next year?
I don't know, to be honest with you, when reading through the bill text, it didn't specify anything related to that. I believe the administration of this grant program, if passed, would be under the IEPA. So I believe they would have the authority to decide that.
Okay. So the bill hasn't passed yet, so, but
No.
we're getting ahead of the game.
It is currently in appropriations and just today only got its second sponsor.
Okay. All right, any other questions? So Steve, you know, I want to get you guys involved. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. Any other new business? Okay, thank you, Austin. All right, reports, we approved that, so that's fine. There's no need for executive session.
Williams moves to adjourn.
Thank you.
Leonard
All right,
seconds.
thank you. All right, everyone, votes vote, adjourn? Yes. Thank you, everyone. So just under 40 minutes. Sorry it took so long.
Email you sent on the regional.
Thank you for attending, Miss Juby. I hope you're feeling better. Oh,
She's a member because of